Alrighty, guys. Let's get ourselves going today. I'm sorry about that. I'm a little late today on a lot of these things. I had some poor connection earlier. I don't think I will have any poor connection now. I always we should now be able to, guys. We'll receive better. I forgot to hit that poor connection is because of the stupid for it. But here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Specifically, as you guys know, this is not the Japanese setup. This is not the Japan build or things into that nature. This is the European side of things. We have now officially been able to play in Europe again. So, with that, today's going to be a Japan driving in Japan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Project Japan. Is pretty much here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Project Japan. Through the American truck, through not the American, but through I will pick Japan. Um, uh, on the um, on the Sundays, um, on basically I'll pick Project Japan on Tuesdays. Europe, Europe, the rest of the European, Africa, Asia, Middle East, things along those lines. In the on the Thursdays, but Saturdays, guys, will be whatever I decide. I'm gonna drive in Japan on Saturdays, for that. But Sundays, I will pick whatever, whichever two we decide, whatever two I'm gonna have a little coin flip app, and I'll just flip and we'll pick for that day. But Tuesdays and Thursdays will be Europe. Will be the rest of the European continent, Middle East, and things like that. Um, and then we'll have Project Japan on uh, Tuesdays, and then Europe on Thursdays. So it's that way. I know I'm probably sitting here, not even really saying much of anything, and am late. Sorry, I was trying to create a thumbnail. The thumbnail, I was trying to figure out why I couldn't find Project Japan anywhere, and why I couldn't find Project Japan in the link. Um, so basically, here's how I have envisioned. I might actually just start by creating the screenshot that I create. And yes, I am currently in taking packages. Currently, um, taking some packages. Today's agenda. We're gonna go from Kanazawa up here. Um, here down to um Takayama is where we're gonna head for today's trip. Um, for it, and I have not driven. I have not. I didn't haven't I haven't basically drove or driven, or whatever you like to put it. I haven't put this conscious effort to drive in Europe, in Japan, um, off stream. Sometimes I drive off stream on a off YouTube. In some of these things, but I am back in Europe, by the way. So we will be able to start picking Europe once in a while, pick Europe once a week, and Japan once a week, and then at least, and then the other day will be whatever between the two. So if you guys are interested in wanting to see this content, it is always great that you guys follow, that you guys hit that subscribe here. We always talk politics, we always talk tech, video games, pretty much basically all of that. Fun jazz. Um, in that regard. So, if you guys are wanting to see this content, do that. That's a great way to do it, and be subscribed by hitting that bell notification. Because the bell notification is going to be the best thing that you can do. And be there. So, anyway, today's agenda pretty much basically we're going to talk about a lot of the trans issues going on. Now, of course, I'm not going to be too much of any really any help on some of these things for trans issues, but we're going to get into the trans thing within Europe. I mean, within, not Europe, but within Tennessee, with a trans being on a list in Tennessee. We're going to get into not only talking about that, but talking about trans issues related to Portugal, and also some issues related to and some other issues related to Trump and Easter. That one there, and a few other things. Focused heavily focused and heavily in relation to focusing through that. Mostly those are the things that we're going to get mainly into, but that's okay. Well, so that's basically how I'm going to feel about doing a lot of these things. Within Japan, within a lot of these places, or quite understanding of these things going on within our society and things, like, I am going to do that. But at the same time, let me be clear, I am no expert on any of these issues. I am no expert on anything related to these issues from afar, and things like that. Now, I want to I want you guys to preface that there is this thing that really bothers me in my mind. And to be honest, it bothers me when people go out and really are literally angry at you because they tell you, "Oh well, you're not listening." No, I'm not listening. Like, yeah, I know. I already was like, my brother today was one of the things that I really did not like about him today was basically telling me that telling me how I should take care of my mom, telling me how I should do this, tell me how to do that, tell me what to do. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, I already kind of know what's going on a little bit, not the whole entire thing, but I will know how to take care of her because Nate's not here 24/7. Yeah. Well, my brother's not here 24/7. Sorry, you blurted out his name. Whatever. If he, for whatever it's worth, um, you guys already know my name, to be honest, my first name. But anyway, first name basis. Anyway, um, my brother basically decided that um, he basically is telling me that how to take care of her. Yeah, I know. There are things that I have to work on better myself, and I've been trying better to do a lot of those things around my daily life. Like, yes, I literally yesterday I went and um was working on dishes yesterday. I literally did dishes yesterday. Well, I did not clean. I did not do an extensive cleaning. I did not do any of that yesterday because um part of it was that I basically was okay. I didn't do anything. I was gonna wait until after I got done eating to see if mom wanted to do anything, or to see my mom was coming home, or what's going on. I pretty much basically know that she basically went into pretty much go and have some surgery done and or something done. Um, that I'm not going to tell you what it is of sorts. Um, but but the thing of it is, like, I was basically being told that I have to go and do this, I have to go and do that, I have to do this, and that. And my brother basically said, no, you need to basically get the house cleaned up. It's like, really? Really? Like, okay, fine, whatever. Okay, yes, I know. But that's what I was planning on doing today because I have found out that I've found out that the thing that I'm doing within I don't mind telling you guys my daily routine. I don't care because to be honest, knowing a little bit about it, basically most of the time after right now I'm not looking for a job. I haven't been actively. I sure probably should be, but maybe I will, and I can go down and I can say YouTube. I can put YouTube down as a reference frame of mind that YouTube currently still doing it, saying that I've been off for a year or two because I've been trying to see if I can get YouTube to kind of get off, and it's not. I'm gonna tell you, it's not taking off as like I expected it to, but that's okay. I'm not here to try to make this channel to go off and become a hit sensation that I can make money off of. I'm not. I'm just sitting here seeing if I can do that. But I am doing it all on my own, doing it based on utilizing some of the understanding of what ChatGPT, not ChatGPT, but Gemini. I went through Gemini and used a little bit of some knowledge to get some understanding of what through YouTube, because that's what YouTube and that's what Gemini is. I don't use anything more than public knowledge already on a lot of these issues. But let me be clear. The whole thing of it is basically yesterday. Yesterday I um, basically what I did yesterday before it was basically I was on my own yesterday and on my own again today. So, but yesterday basically I got on. Yesterday morning, I basically got up, was gonna do my daily routine, went in and took a shower, um, kind of thing, um, got some food, I think I took a shower. I may have been wrong on that slightly, but at least I shaved and did a lot of things that, as somebody who is transgender, I am not. I am pre-trans, so sometimes I don't even shave. Sometimes I forget to shave. Sometimes I forget to do some of those things because, you know, um, being being somebody that is pre pre-op, basically pre-op means, for any of you who um pre-op basically is no operations have been done, nothing has been taken, um and I haven't even taken any medication or anything like that. I am pretty much basically right there, not doing anything. Now, of course, most of the people will say I've gone into bathrooms multiple times, plenty of time, and I have not gotten into any trouble, have not had any issues, have not had any problems, except for when I did it except for when I've done it with my brother and stuff, and it's like he really is annoyed with it. To be honest, he's somebody that I cannot stand to be around him. I cannot. Like, if it came down to it, and I chose to leave, um, and my brother's like, so basically you're just so basically right now, um, um, no, I don't think I need to get off. No, okay, um, I was wondering why we don't have any music. Um, um, and one of the things that really bugs me is like, you are really wanting to push me away. You are. He basically, the way that he sounded today, he basically flipped me off, said I wasn't listening, I am very much was listening. And basically, I got up this morning, um, and I was scrolling through Instagram because I wanted to see what was going on, with some of the things, people that I follow, so that I can kind of have a little bit of understanding of what's going on, so that I can kind of come in and actually talk about some of these things that really pertain to what's going on, um, and things like that. And one of the things that I basically came across, I started playing a new game, um, that I'm gonna probably sit down and maybe do a battle or two in the morning for, do a battle in one or two, and then get up for kind of do things for the day, um, instead of, and hopefully I don't get too sidetracked with things. But Final Fantasy got released a new game, from the Dissidia franchise that's on mobile now. And I'm actually, I will tell you, I have been somebody that has loved the mobile kind of games. Like, I was somebody that played Final Fantasy, Record Keeper. I played Final Fantasy Record Keeper from, um, uh, that game that has been shut down for quite some time. That I was wanting to continue to play that game. Was one of my all-time favorite Final Fantasies, outside of the normal Final Fantasy line, um, and Let's just... So I ended up playing, Decidia Dulium. I played Decidia Delulium. Oops. Nope. Okay, that's gonna go downwards. Downwards. But I do make some of those mistakes. It's like, I have to, it's hard to see at night a little bit, but one of the things that really got me going off is basically my brother was the one that basically was angry at me for not making me pay attention. Like, I was paying attention, I was listening. He was basically asking me to take care of my mom, and I know I have to do that. I'm gonna have to, because he can't. Because well then, you know, like, it's like, okay, so what if I'm not here? The thing is what if I'm not here to take care of her? What if I'm not here and I was at a job that I work at night, so then what? He's gonna have to take care of her somehow. Like, he doesn't quite understand some of those things. Like, oh, well, because I don't have a job right now. But to be honest, if I had one, and he would be all over helping my mom. But to be honest, it's really it's one of those things that just really irked me off today. And trust me, no, I literally just saw his side, that he was angry today. That he came angry. He was already set off. We don't know what's going on with him, why he's angry. So basically, it's like... Wait, so sometimes they have that, and sometimes they have it going from left to right? That's weird. That is so weird. Definitely weird. Um, but one of those things that bothers me a lot of the time is like just being angry with my brother. I didn't get angry with him. I did not. I literally just sat there and said, okay, it's just not worth it. I just said it's not worth it for me to get angry. I was literally listening. All I was doing was looking off to the right because I am literally trying to see. I was literally just got up kind of thing. I was playing the new Final Fantasy Dissidia Delirium. And no. Yeah, I would have enough to repair the damage on that, but I want to know which one is cheaper to repair right now. I'm going to accept those as well, to repair, and then we will repair you at some point as well, but right now I just don't have that funds. I have that funds right now to go and replace this vehicle. Once I'm able to get enough to buy another. Okay, actually, before we do, let's go to Freight Market. I want to be able to create something that, like a mod that disables the external contracts. If you are connected to World of Trucks. But it's 19 hours. And my brother got after me last night for not having my phone. Or not having my phone plugged in. Or not having my phone plugged in, to be honest. And I'm like, I was charging it last night through PlayStation. And apparently I must not have the connection properly connected into it, but that's going that way to Shinjuku. I want to. Have we visited Sojeo? Yes. If we have visited Sojeo, I want to try to see if we can find something that we haven't visited yet. Yokohama. Motozomo. Do we have that on here? That one's going to Tokyo. Dayaku. So basically, Yokohama. I'm gonna take that one. So we'll see how far we can get. And see where we need to go. I just love driving in Japan, to be honest. It's one of my... I like driving in it now that I've kind of learned to understand some of the nuances and understanding some of the traffic laws a little bit after I read the document. But uh, it's gonna be one of those things where when we go back to America, or not America, or Eurotruck, um, because I'm not gonna go into America. I think I might just leave America alone, um, and only do like things like when we have like events and stuff going on, because you can do both and be able to receive both stuff when you're doing events and things. But I figured it's been a little bit since we started the stream. Um, and I know it's gonna be dark, guys, but it's gonna be one of those things that this isn't something that, it's gonna be dark, but it's mostly we focus on politics around here, so, and news and things that are affecting my daily life, affecting a lot of, okay, or affecting a lot of life going on around the world, with mostly if it comes to LGBTQ, that's where the world things will come into play. And things like that, and that's pretty much basically what's going on, and we talk a lot about that. And it's no clickbait, so don't do clickbaity titles. I don't like to do clickbaity things, but anyway, it's one of those things that, I talk about a religion sometimes too, and I wanted to share with you guys what's going on and with Trump right now, and related to Christianity and things. And right now, Trump basically said that Congress should basically forgo Easter. Should forgo Easter and actually get bills passed, and forgo it. Specifically, demanded Senator Senate Leader John Thune skip the Easter recess, keep senators in town, and pass the SAVE Act. Don't worry about Easter. Make this one for Jesus, okay? That's what I tell them. That would be a damn good thing. And he's not even a Christian. He's not even somebody there that I basically like. You're not a Christian, Trump. Why are you demand, like, you're basically telling them that they should be there on Easter, working on Easter to pass freaking bills, instead of getting them to go home for Easter to be with their family. And it's like, it is absolutely ridiculous. And Like, wow. So much for being a Christian, buddy. That's why I really want James Tellerico up there. Um, because I am somebody that's like, we need to have somebody to sit there and tell Trump that he's not being a good Christian. And I'm being honest. It doesn't matter if you're LGBTQ or not. If you follow, like, let me be clear. Just because I am trans, there are a lot of things that absolutely will not get me to vote for you. Just because you're anti-trans, you know, and things like that. And basically, like, Trump was one of those reasons why I won't. If you're gonna claim that you're a Christian, go out and follow and be and be a Christian, then act like it. Show it. Don't just say that you are a Christian. You are not like, to be honest, like, I need to be better about some of those things myself. And things like that. And it's really sad that some of these places are not acting Christian-like, because in Tennessee, they're going after trans people again, but this time they're going to basically create a list. They're going to put trans people on a list. When was the last time that they did something heinous like that? 1930s Germany? Like, I'm not going into... I'm probably already going to be demonetized for just having, getting shadow for having these titles. Um... Um... And a lot of these things do not really pertain to what's being done and what's being said. That pertain to a lot of these people being hurt. All they're doing is they're really hurting trans people. They are harming, destroying people's lives, all because they have a grudge against them. All because they feel like the trans people are bad human beings. Let me be clear, trans people have existed for years upon years. They've existed in the 50s. If you go back to 1950 and you add 100 years, go back 100 years, trans people existed. Those people just didn't realize it. And it's there. If I stood and gave you 5 people to put up and handed to you, and asked you to name me 5 people, to name me which one is transgender and which one is, and which ones are not without knowing the answer, without knowing the answer, I will tell you that can you identify nope. And you can't. You cannot go, and I guarantee you there's 5 people. I already know the answer, but for you to not understand um for you not to quite understand the importance a of these things, and understanding that you can't judge, like, oh, you, like, see, like, I went in, saw somebody who was just basically discussing trans issues from New Hampshire, and I couldn't, and without knowing, and without knowing that this person's trans, I didn't know this person was trans, and guess what? You cannot genuinely tell if somebody's trans or not. Like, I literally saw Laverne Cox at one point, didn't realize she was trans, did not realize some of these things. There are people that I went to school, college in, did not realize that they were trans. Did not absolutely know that this person was trans, did not know this person was this, did not know that person was that, this and that, did not know. And you cannot identify if somebody is gay or not. Unless you're gay, then you might be able to. The gaydar might go off, but to be honest, you cannot. You cannot tell whether somebody's trans or whether somebody is that way. You can't. You cannot really see. And I would ask all of these people, I said, can you identify can you identify between them? And basically trans people that have not been that are not really identifiable. Like, to be honest, like, I am somebody that, you know, I really liked Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters 1 and 2, the remake, because somebody was put in there that was trans. Not really knowing the issue. I still liked Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters 1 and 2. Like, I've loved video games that do have some representation. I'm not saying that everybody should be represented in these games. No. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters 1 and 2 is not necessarily a story-driven game. You're a skater trying to basically complete challenges and on a daily basis, doing these things, having somebody that's trans in there, whatever. It's not gonna harm you. Okay? It's not gonna harm you for playing a game with a trans person, or having these things related into these video games and pushing them out in front of people. Like, I am seriously sick and tired of people telling me that I am not transgender, or people telling me that you hate this, and that you are willing to flip, like you can be angry all you want, Anybody who says that they're Democrats, like, you are literally a dumblicant. Like, Democrat, like, Democrat, like, you're gonna use that. You can use better words than that. Seriously. Seriously. I went and literally, I literally could have used better words too, but I used dumblickin. Dumblickin. Not a Republican. Dumblickin. Because that's how it is. A dumblickin. And it's like, this guy, these people think that Democrats are dumb. They go after and blame Democrats for everything that's going. They basically go out there and make Democrats as if they are bad human beings. They go out there, these Republicans, who sit there and go out and judge, and basically judge you based on being a Democrat. Judge you based on whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, and they're only going to vote based on party line. Based on party line. Guess what? I don't vote based on party line. I don't vote based on those things. I never voted based on party line. Okay? I don't vote based on party line necessarily. To be honest. I voted in 2016. I voted for Trump in 2016, and I voted for him in 2020. Made some horrible mistakes in doing that. I could have voted as a Republican then. I could have voted for a Democrat. Voted for the Democratic president. Voted for Hillary. Voted for Biden. I did not vote for either one. Okay? I voted for Trump because at the time, I thought Trump was going to be somebody that I could believe, somebody that I could trust, because he said that Trump in 2016 that he was for LGBTQ people, that he was for these people that were there to support, that he was there to support us. He's not there to support us. He never was. And I'm gonna tell you, it's like how can you go out and support a president that is going to basically say one thing, say that we're gonna support that these people are good people, that they're willing to help us, willing to we're gonna do best things for you, we're gonna do everything for you and help you and do things. He has not helped us one bit. He said that he wasn't gonna start any wars. He said that he was gonna end all these wars. He hasn't ended them. He's lying. He lies to you and you believe it. You believe it as if it's the truth. And you sit there and believe these things without doing your due diligence and seeing what both sides have to say. You only go and sit down and listen to Fox News on a daily basis as if it's truth. As if it's the things they're going to tell you on a daily basis. But remember, I go and I will listen to Fox News. I will listen and I listened to Trump's speech, the State of the Union speech. After the fact, I watched the People's State of the Union. I literally ended watching the State of the Union. I literally ended it because it was so bad. I literally, last year, when he had done the exact same thing, I had literally just said I watched the entirety of that thing and I shouldn't have. Because he is literally, if you have any sense of being a Christian, and let me be clear, Hold on. Um, just so that I can. I need to check. Let me check to see if I missed any. Okay, I have not missed anybody's message from Trovo. Um, because I need to get like a second monitor or something. Just need to get a better stream. I need to get maybe a streaming computer or um get a dual monitor setup or something. Same monitor. Uh, Buying the same monitor that and just have a second monitor over here. Um, that I can use just to stream with. That I can use this computer as a streaming computer if I needed to. But I can't run these things like. But when it comes to a lot of the issues that really spend a lot of my issues that I have with a lot of these countries, or not these countries, but these Republican people that go out and believe that they have to follow everything that a Republican does. They go out and believe that Republicans are going to be the best. They're the best party. They're everything. They're all this, and Democrats are the worst. Democrats are always bad. Democrats are seen as evil, and it's like you believe anything that comes out of a Republican's mouth, and you just go out and believe Trump and believe everything and follow everything that he says. And that's all you do. And you don't. And that's all you do, is you just go out and believe and listen to one party or the other. You only believe when you are wanting what you want to hear, and only what you want to hear. A lot of the time I do want to just be able to hear what I just want to hear. Okay, I listen to Midas Touch, and that's all I listen to. That's all I'm listening to. Midas Touch, Tennessee Brando, and occasionally Luke Beasley, and occasionally in that regard, and occasionally some other things going on in other countries. And one of those things that I heard was from Make That Change is like, Canada is kind of like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no on this Iran war. So you can't really tell when you go and study these things. That's why a lot of times you don't listen to what they do. You don't believe everything that they say. You follow and look at their actions and their things that dictate what they're doing. They say that what they're doing is helping America. But is it? I love Lawson's. I just love Japan, to be honest. Like, to be honest, it's one of those places that I just want to go and live. Because, to be honest, it's such a relaxing, peaceful country. Yeah, I don't have a lot of, yeah, I have to have a diagnosis. Yeah, I have to have this, in order to be trans in the country. But to be honest, I don't care. I don't care about going to a country that does not have a lot of LGBTQ protections on a lot of things. But being transgender is like, okay, whatever. I can live with the limitations on some of these things. Because that country, Japan, is such a more of a conservative country than a lot of people think. But yet they do allow trans people. Yet they have gays. Yet they have a lot of these things that they don't ban. Um, yeah, they don't ban a lot of these LGBTQ um, people from existing in their country. They take things very conservatively. Okay. And things like that. Um, we've got 2 hours left on our travel distance. But before I do, continue on, I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab some water. make sure that I have chat open properly, but which I do now. $24 to get this done. It doesn't matter which way I go because I haven't been this way yet. But anyway, sorry, I had to go help my mom too because, no. Those are the things that I really have to do to be honest, that need to be done, and I'm going to tell you that that I am pretty much basically just going to finish up this job. I was going to drive another haul, but I think I'm just going to finish this one up and get off for the afternoon. And then maybe way later tonight. Probably won't be on normal time for a little while. Don't need fuel right now. But it's one of those things that really bug me so much with the trans things. Like, they're wanting to create lists, they're wanting to do a lot of these things. But then you look at Portugal, and Portugal, if you go and look at, as of right now, off. That really bother me a lot. And guys, if you go look at the Equaldex, right now, Portugal basically is one of those countries that is higher on the list. But if these new anti-LGBTQ laws go into effect, potentially for that go into effect, then we're gonna see Portugal kind of be lower on that tier. I'm not quite 100% for sure. I just saw the headline, and basically it was pretty much basically going on where they are reducing these rights in Portugal. And to be honest, Portugal thought would be a good place, thought would be a fantastic place to be. And to be honest, I watched a place where a place called Soul Travels, that basically I watched because I was looking at the Netherlands, and but kind of thing, just because I was just exploring and wanting to see other countries and things like that. And I haven't really watched any of those lately to that point. Um, sorry, I got just sidetracked there for a moment. But it's like a lot of these things that, because I ended up studying the Netherlands and going from there, and then they ended up moving to Portugal right afterwards. And I thought, okay, Portugal is a place that's on my list. It's a place that I could potentially relatively go and actually move to and things like that. There's a lot of places that, you look at. I'm not like gonna hop countries or things like that. It's just more of me trying to understand countries that if I had to and be able to move or leave the United States if at any point that I have to. I'm not saying having the ability, like I have to get to figure out, start saving money so in case something like this needs to happen, I have to first find a job. And to be able to find a job, I know I'm not supposed to cross over the white line. But until I got up here, but I did anyway because, to be honest, this is a video game. I usually try to be better about things like that, but yeah, it's like I go out and study these places and study places. And it's like I listen to mostly I have like four countries on my list that I've looked into through it all, and some of them mostly has been, I've studied the portion of the of these laws where I've gone and studied Japan. I still actually one of the only countries that I have gone and actually have studied from and consistently study. It's the only country that I've actually studied out of everything else. I have not really sat down and studied Iceland a lot. I haven't sat down and actually studied Netherlands a lot. I haven't sat down and studied these things. Lash, you can decide what I talk about and what I do is what I talk about. I am pretty much talking about all things related to certain things that pertain to politics. Glass, it's what I talk about. Don't like it? Talk about politics. I talk about LGBTQ things. I talk about tech, and I talk about gaming. And today's just topic happens to be politics and LGBTQ. Because that's the point. And that's pretty much all I talk about. I don't go, and sometimes I pick something else that I want to talk about, but that's what I stick to. Is I genuinely have a couple 3 things that I tend to talk about, and then I kind of revolve around my topics, extra topics around what I'm going to talk about with my main topics. If nobody cared about it, Glass, then let me be clear. If nobody cared about it, then why do I see so many popular LGBTQ people out there that are popular? Why do I see a very predominant LGBTQ figure in movies? I'm not gonna tell you who. I'm not gonna tell you the person who. Why do I continue to see it all over the place? Yes, people do care. People do care about it. To be honest, 72% of Americans do. Glass. 72% of Americans care. That's the whole thing. 72%. And it might not just be Americans that do. Because there's also a whole vast majority of the world that do. Because not only do I study Japan, I study I study pretty much basically UK. Okay, no, but I do listen to a UK radio station. That talks about it. So, it's your choice. You don't have to like. You don't have to agree with it. But just to remember. But just remember. A lot of people that will probably resent you for it, and there's a lot of people that do care. And to be honest, the only country right now that still has not very much little change from basically over the years that I've been paying attention to is Iceland. And it's one of the smallest countries. It's one of the smallest countries that do and still has the highest rated for LGBTQ at almost 100%. So, and Malta used to be up there too. Canada, there's been a few countries that used to be up there at a higher number. So yes, there are a lot of countries out there that do care. And there are a lot of other countries that do have LGBTQ people within their country that has less representation. I thought that there wasn't supposed to... Oh, okay, no. Okay, so... So, there's a lot of people that do, and if you don't, then the point of the matter is, Glass, that's just what this whole that's what I talk about all the time. So if you don't like, you don't have to be around here. To be honest, that's the whole point. Is if you don't like hearing LGBTQ, don't like hearing politics, don't like hearing things on technology and hearing things that are pretty much basically pressing matter for things that I want to talk about, then you don't have to be around here. It's the It's the only thing that I will talk about, and the biggest thing that I have the most knowledge on outside of technology is LGBTQ. Because I've literally gone on and actually study on these topics so I can have a better understanding and a better equipped to understand a lot of these situations. To be honest, one of the biggest ones that I didn't have much knowledge or understanding on was intersex people. Not have any understanding on a lot of these other places and other things in life to do it. Understanding of politics and actually taking into being somebody who has gone on and actually learned from both sides of the spectrum, and have basically literally put myself more towards the left than the right. So I understand. I study on both sides, and I learn from both. And I learn from both sides to have that knowledge and understanding. Because if you don't have anything and you don't understand it, and you just sit there and just believe what you're being told, and that's all, then you're not really taking that understanding to grow and actually expand your knowledge. It's the thing that, when I look at gun situation, at guns, like, okay, a lot of people will go in and look at me and say, why are these guns being banned in these portions? Well, your Second Amendment does not say what type of gun you can and cannot have. These places do not tell you can't have XYZ for a type of gun. It just tells you that you have the right to own a gun, and you have the right to bear arms. So basically, and a lot of these people, if you are really somebody that does not agree with being able to own a gun, having the right to bear arms, you have at least some regard. Where do you stand on that issue? Where do you stand on owning a gun? Because I'm pretty sure I stand on an issue where my knowledge is basically you shouldn't be allowed to own a tank. You shouldn't be allowed to own a rocket launcher. You shouldn't be able to allow to own foreign grenades and own a lot of those things. You shouldn't be able to own fully automatic weapons in semi-automatic weapons. You shouldn't be able to own the semi-automatic rifle. No, more of the burst rifles, burst weapons, and full-on ARs and things like that. Things that shouldn't really the full-on fully automatic and silencers. Those are the things that I stand on my ground on. You can have a gun, you can have these things as long as you're doing it with proper care and taking that. I was looking at chat. And Glass, to be honest, if you're gonna call me kind of racist, so can Scarlet be racist as well. Because to be honest, Glass, just because I go and share a freaking wheel that is telling me that I'm racist, no, I'm not. I am not. Absolutely am not, because I actually willing to study and learn Because to be honest, if you go and you actually really think about it, um, go look at Mount Rushmore. Go and study how Mount Rushmore actually became to be Mount Rushmore. You'll probably look at me and be like, Mount Rushmore came to be because it was a tourist thing that they wanted to bring people to come to South Dakota. That was the whole point. And they built it on stolen land from Native Americans. I am not in any way, shape, or form based on that. And guess what? A lot of Native Americans, a lot of those, to really understand that I'm not racist, saying that anybody is an American, I said, if you really actually study and actually watched Bad Bunny's performance, he literally showed what everybody who is all an American. And pretty much anybody that says that they live in North America, South America, or Central America can consider themselves an American. Because that is literally the definition of a being American to me. That is literally the definition for me to tell you that oh no, I'm just making, wait, am I going the okay, so 2-hour trip time, where am I? So I came out here. Um, I am so totally... Oh, okay, so no, I'm going to this logistic steed. Right? It's basically from Takayama to Transnet is where I'm supposed to go. I think I am following the thing. If I'm supposed to go to Transnet, that's basically just stick steed right there is where I'm headed. So I'm following the and Glass just to be clear, a Native American is somebody who's been born here who has been here in America, in the United States. That is a Native American. And a lot of people will say, oh, Indian or whatever. Well, let me be clear. There are probably a lot of things they were born here before anybody else. And just to be honest, you're considered a Mayan specifically, not considered an American Indian. You are considered a Mayan Indian, which is a part of America. Because, to be honest, who defined North America, who defined Central, who defined South America? That's a continent. They're continents. North and South America are a continent. To be honest. So, basically, you can go and look at people and say, oh, they're Asian because they're from Asia. Because you can be a Japanese, but you're still Asian person because you live in Asia. And you're European because you still are a European because you live in Europe. It's basically you can be a German, but you're still a European because you're part of Europe. So no, it's basically you can define yourself how you want to define who you want to be, but okay, so I do need to get off. Because if you're a Korean, you're still Asian, because that's basically you're part of that continent. You're Australian because you're part of the Australian continent. Because Australia is pretty much basically a country on its own, or own. But you can identify yourself by, a lot of United States people will say, oh, it's an American, but we're not really defined based on, okay, you're an American basically. Now you have to define Puerto Rico as American, because they're pretty much basically been given the right to become a citizen. They're a territory of the United States, so they're American. Oh wait, you don't want to call that because you call them Puerto Rican. Well, that's just because that's how a lot of people have perceived it. You call a lot of people who have a darker skin tone or black, a lot of people, you're still an American citizen if you're born here in the United States. Doesn't matter if you're black, it doesn't matter what skin color you have. Your skin color is never going to change. You can identify yourself with whatever you want to identify. You can say you identify as a Japanese, but you're not Japanese if you are half Japanese or half this or half that. Because in Japan, basically, if you're not fully Japanese, I mean, basically you're still not really considered Japanese. So it's all based on projection and what these people, each individual person can do, you know. And saying Native American is just an easier term is basically some people will not want to be called Indian, because some of them would like to be identified as specifically Navajo, or identified as part of a tribe kind of thing. And that's how it works, is people will utilize that identifier and just identify themselves as that when there's only about a few identifiers that really should be identifiable. That really you cannot change your color of your skin, so that's identifiable as that, because you can't change it. That's an identifier that you can never change. You cannot change your skin color or skin tone. Makeup you can change it through makeup and things, but you can change your hair color through that. It's whatever. You can identify how you want to identify. Some people will say different things and will put it differently. And that way. So it's going to be however you perceive how you want to set it that way. To be honest, do I call you Guatemalan, or do I call you Mayan Indian? Because technically I can call you Guatemalan because you're from Guatemala. So some people will be offended by me saying, like, you can be offended if you want to be, for however, but if I call you that you're Guatemalan, then you're Guatemalan. That's how most people will perceive. Wait. Okay, so I came in. I'm so I'm wondering... No, okay, so I can't go that way then. So I don't know what I'm doing. It's not really racist, Glass, when Native American is American. When you are born, basically the term Native American, Glass, is not the term Native Indian or Indian. Your Native American is because a lot of people will attribute it to being you were born here in the United States on a reservation and you are considered Native American. A lot of people will complain. A lot of people complained about the Redskins being called the Redskins for a reason, and I don't like that Trump wants to change that back. Yes, I know you're not from America. You're from Guatemala, so you're Guatemalan, to be honest. But if you actually watch Bad Bunny, you are considered basically, Glass. You don't have to identify as an American. You identify basically. I don't identify as an American. I identify as a U.S. person. I identify as that because being identified as an American, I can go to Canada and be identified as an American. Because you live in North America, because you live in South America, because you live in these locations. Basically, that's what Bad Bunny was saying, is that these people, that everybody who lives in America, who lives in basically South, Central, North America, are that. And to be honest, Glass, he is Puerto Rican. He's from Puerto Rico. He's not from the United States. Because Puerto Rico is only a territory. But technically it's an American territory. So he is pretty much an American, but most people do not attribute Puerto Ricans as American. They attribute them as being outsiders. And yes, Glass, technically you don't, but if you have blood that's not related to being, like, yes, you might be from which way do I have to be careful because of which way. Okay, I need to do this because driving in Japan is really difficult. I need to figure out. Need to go back and figure out if I'm going the right way. Yokohama Koen. Okay, so that's basically going to Dayashi. If I do that, that's going from I need to go to Yokohama, not down here. So Yokohama Koen, I think I need to go to the right. To the left. Just to make sure, we're gonna save the game real quick. 5, 3, 24, 26. Hopefully I'm going the right way. If not, then we'll take the other one. I can just load in and take the other one, and and that'll be fine. Because this is where driving Japan is like, the roads are really weird compared to Europe. But you only have a small confined space that you got to be able to get around and follow. I'm pretty sure I came off of that way, but we'll find out. So it's based on how you feel like you want to identify, and that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with you, because some people will say one way, some people will say another way, some people will say they're European, some people will say that they're because how are you supposed to say that, oh well, I'm Irish, I'm German, I'm Welsh, and all these things, so technically I would be considered a European because technically I have bloodline related from Europe. But no, I'm born here on American soil, so most people would call me an American. So it's basically how people will want to perceive that. Some people who will identify one way or another. Another will identify X, Y, or Z. Will identify whatever, however, and there's only a few identifiers that will never, that really never, that can never really be changed. To be honest, like Glass, to me, you were born in Guatemala. If you are related to that, to Indian basically, but you were born in Guatemala, to be honest, you're a Guatemalan. It's not me saying that I'm racist. It's because I'm telling you that that's where you came from. You came from Guatemala. You are Guatemalan. It's like you go and you look at people who are American who came here from being Japan. They're still Japanese. And there are people like I literally watch a guy who happens to absolutely be, if I'm not mistaken, he might be from India, but actually is an American, to be honest. So how do you perceive that? How do you perceive somebody that is there but is now living in Japan? So what do you do? Do you still call him an American citizen living abroad in Japan, or do you call him Indian living in Japan? Whatever. It's based on those characteristics. Is that, oh, I could say, oh well, I could be characterized as these things. It's based on what is being done and what people are saying about these things. It's not. Everybody has a different way of identifying something. Because, to be honest, to me, what's a big slap in the face is basically changing on stolen land, building Mount Rushmore on native land. That, okay, actually, so that's the thing there, that people don't quite really think I'm not paying attention. I don't pay attention. I do. I just use it that way because that's how I've been taught, not because, and to be honest, if I called you a Mayan Indian, guess what? Then I have to. Okay, so that's just basically, you're just from part of that area. So, but if you're only related to that, then guess what? You can still be called that. But there's also people that here in America Some people will be called Native American. Some people will be called Indian. I'm basically directing, when I say Native American, I'm directing people who are born here in America, not directly born in Guatemala, or born in Mexico, or born in these other countries that are Indian flavor. Because, to be honest, how did Mexico become to be? How did Mexico became a country? How did Canada become a country? Because at one point, the United States and Canada were one, and were not called United States or Canada. They were various different people living here before that. And when you go to Canada, what do you call people that were there before Canada? They call them First Nation people. People that were there before Canada was ever founded. So you gotta think about it. You go. I watch a guy who literally is somebody who has been born in Canada, who is native, probably Indian descent of some sort, but they call him First Nation in Canada. So it's based on, when I talk about Native American, I'm not talking about Guatemala. I'm talking about people in the United States, because that's the whole thing. Is like, I've studied a little bit on Canada and studied a little bit understanding some better things on those things. Some people, it's like it's like, why I prefer the Washington Commanders than the Redskins, to be honest, because it's like, it's the Redskins, it's a slap in the face for for Indians, and slap in the face for them, and Native Americans, however you like to put it. I'm just going to continue using Native Americans, because to be honest, that's what I'm doing here when I'm referencing people here in America, because there's a whole bunch. I could go Navajo, I could go Cherokee, or other things that are related to that. Okay? Because that's basically going down to identifying each tribe and going for it. There's two. Oh, whoa. Hello. Duh. I forgot. There's two there, but then I realized, wait, why does that say I can't enter? And then I realized, oh yeah, the duh. See? Like, I'm still trying to get used to driving in Japan, because the roads are one of those things that are just really challenging. It's more challenging to drive in Japan than it is to drive in America or Europe, to be honest. I found this out, that it's actually a lot more challenging. So I wanted to give myself that challenge, but to be honest, I'm going to have to end it here as soon as I can get to a point to stop, because I need to go make some supper, because it is past the time that I'm supposed to be off. 10 minutes passed. I was planning on being on till 6, so I didn't know when my mom was coming home, but I was gonna get off at 6, and then or get off when I got this haul done. But unless I might go start something. It's about 36 minutes, so maybe I'll come back after I go start the pot or something for food. Don't know what we might have, because I don't know if what I really want. To be honest, I'm really wanting maybe go and make some spaghetti, or Chicken Alfredo, don't know. Um, uh, for it because I've been deciding which one I want. So I can come back and probably finish this. Um, uh, so I'll be right back, guys. I'll go shut the pot and then I'll be right back. Hold on. I want to check to see. Nothing with trailer. Trailer damage. So yeah, no. So I basically when you know um when you go and you look actually at Age of Empires um or things, when you go look at Mayan, they're literally called Mayan in Age of Empires. They're literally, that's what it's called because it's their thing. It's basically there's the Aztecs and then there's but that's all relatively in the same general area that you mentioned. Make those things that you know you can go and look and have these things where you can still be considered like if you live in like Hong Kong, you are still considered a Chinese, because to be honest, I'm not quite 100% for sure if they consider them Hong Kong people or just Chinese, but they're pretty much self-governed and following. It's really hard to tell because you can't tell New Zealander, are they considered Australian because they're from the Australian continent, because a lot of people will call Europeans like you're German, but yet you're still part of the European continent, European Union, so you're still considered a European. If you're UK, you're still considered a European. It's like you go and think about it. What identifies, what sets that to be identifiable? because you can be, because a transgender person a transgender person identifiable. There's pretty much really only um, two ways that you can really put yourself to be identified as a transgender person, but that they're really, to be honest, you can identify yourself as a trans woman, somebody who is basically transitioned from a man, and then the trans man, which is somebody who transitioned to being a man. But then there's non-binary, which is a sub thing that now is pretty much on their own. And non-binary is basically anybody that identifies pretty much as anything other than male or female. And most people will identify as they, them, but there are people that identify it, its, and other identifiable things, within other parts of the LGBTQ community. There's, the major ones that most people know are pretty much gay, lesbian, pretty much. Those are easy to identify. But then there are a lot of people that, that have different ways of doing it. There's pretty much a lot of other things, but the most ones that I know, that I kind of understand, is outside of the only ones that I understand through the community is pretty much basically gays, lesbians, trans, and non-binary, and intersex. But there are people who are part of the LGBTQ community that are pretty much basically furries are considered part of the LGBTQ community for some. Hi, Lowen VTuber, how are you doing? Oh, that's tricky. That's gonna be a tricky. Oh, a freaking crash. Really. It's really struggling trying to travel in Japan, to be honest. To be honest. So you can... pretty much my... I don't stream on Twitch because of the copyright stuff. Mostly due to a lot of the things that I could potentially, because of Fortnite, primarily Fortnite. That's why I used to live stream on Twitch. I actually left Twitch for Trovo for it at the time, because I did not like what Twitch was doing and what Twitch was going for, and I will probably never go back to Twitch now that I'm doing Trovo, because of who is part of who is under Twitch and won't literally try. I try not to shop through Amazon or things, but sometimes you can't help it. So, but that's why I'm on Trovo, to be honest. And specifically within central United States, perceivably, I don't like to mention a lot where I am from specifically, but Minnesota is where I'm currently residing. Residing in part of it. And so I've been pretty much Um, that's what this is. It's primarily, mostly, I've switched this channel over to live streaming. I haven't really um, posted, uploaded a lot of um, content for non-streaming. I only do it unless it's like a tutorial um, or something that pertains to um, uh, a thing that uh, needs to be done because I'm not going to be around um, for it. But mostly it's all live streamed and all of that. Oh yeah, that's right. I I really need to untie my um to be honest, no, because what I've it's one of my rules that I have that I've already have what I need and I don't need to change it. I've already pretty much specifically um sticking to what I'm already doing, um and don't need any help, to be honest. Um we don't have anything. The only thing is I would have to travel back over no, navigation, quick travel. No, it's not money. I already have what I need and don't need to change any of it. Oh, because my truck's not in great condition, I can't quick travel. Well, I'm gonna have to leave it there for today, guys. Um, I already have everything I need. If, to be honest, I don't need it. To be honest, look, you're not the first person that has asked me this. Okay? To be honest, I've had a whole bunch of people ask me over on my Trovo side of things. And to be honest, I have not. Um, because I don't need help. I don't need these things. I've already got everything I need. Not, to be honest, initially I started just basically just nothing from it. I've been, to be honest, I've been doing this for 20, not 20 years, but I've been doing this since 2013. 10 years almost, a little over 10 years. So, and I'm just doing it just for fun. I'm not doing this for money, not doing this for trying to make it. If I end up making it big, I end up making it big. I don't care. And plus, I already, the stuff that I already use, I already got from somebody through Etsy already that created this stuff for me. I already have all the the cute cat emotes that I have. As soon as I can get memberships through YouTube, they will be shipped right, one for one, shipped right over here onto YouTube. But for now, guys, I will be back to night. If you're watching here on YouTube, I will be back tomorrow for some Final Fantasy 13 tomorrow. Because 13 pretty much on a daily basis. Right now, Final Fantasy 13 will be Monday, Tuesday will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And Euro Truck / American Truck will be Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday throughout the week. And then with that. And then at night, if you guys want to see Fortnite, Call of Duty, um, then that's going to be how I do things around here. Um, and that's what I do. So if you would like to see Fortnite and some Call of Duty tonight, some Fortnite tonight, make sure you guys are following on the Trovo side. I do split streams on Trovo only, um, because to be honest, um, I don't want to give you guys too many times to watch streams. But we do YouTube and Trovo in the afternoons. So it's always great to be followed, subscribed, making sure that you guys hit that bell notification. Remember, guys, I'm gonna tell you we are slowly rolling into 200 subscribers. But mainly things we do around here, pretty much politics, gaming, and that's what we do around here. But specifically management sims, JRPGs, Call of Duty on YouTube, Trovo, we add Fortnite over there because Fortnite is copyright hell for being able to stream on YouTube and stuff because you get copyright striked on daily basis. You know, I do that. So if you guys like to see that, that will be we'll be back later tonight. We'll see you guys about maybe 9 o'clock, but we might be on later. So see you guys later.